Hello, all.
You worried about the contract situation working itself out the last time we talked to you, but how nice is it to kind of have this thing squared away, not just for you, but for some of the other guys too?
Yeah, no, I mean, super nice. I'm so grateful, obviously, to everyone involved, the whole York family and John, Kyle, everyone involved. It was pretty seamless, and happy for George and Brock to get their stuff done too. And so everybody's locked in, just trying to get better every single day. And obviously, we know what we got ahead of us, and just taking it one day at a time.
Those contracts were done kind of un-49er-like. Like usually it's right before the start of training camp or in training camp. Did you three guys at all talk about, and with your representation, about putting a priority on getting it done early in the offseason?
No, we didn't. We didn't come together and have some sort of formal meeting about it. It just I guess worked out that way. And every situation is different. It might have not been as 49er like you mentioned, but I mean, you talk about these deals that are getting done, and a lot of money being on the line. Some things take longer than others, and luckily we were just able to get it done in timely fashion this time around.
Kyle was just talking about a heightened energy as opposed to last year when you guys came back in OTAs. Have you also felt that?
Yeah. I can't exactly remember how last OTAs went. It seems like forever ago, but I can speak to this time around. Obviously, having everybody here, being a part of all three phases, and being out there now, just getting better. That's the goal every single day. Is just how can you get better in little ways, in everything that you do, right? And so you do that every single day, and then we'll have the product that we want when the time comes.
Your energy getting after guys on the sideline is already at a level.
Absolutely. That's all I got to be said.
Anyone else that you're focused on this year?
Everyone. It's like, I think every day it's different, right? Like you go into a day and it might be one guy that needs a little, just a nice little push to him, right? Or see things on film that somebody needs to work on, and you love to see guys who go out there and they correct those mistakes from the day before. And ultimately, it's just about having a competitive atmosphere out there on the field, right? Like, it's about both sides getting each other better. And if we do that, then it doesn't matter who we play when the season comes, because we done already competed against the best.
Just arrived, but any observations on the rookies, especially Nick Martin?
Yeah, I've loved everything that Nick's been about since he's arrived. I mean, heard the whole story about how he said he had my jersey before coming onto the team, and then with some of those situations, guys don't want to seem like they're, the whole too cool thing. I don't know what it is. Like, you just don't want an older player to think that they're not like, they're just like little bro or something. But he hasn't. He's come in and he's asked me every single question known to man of, like, Fred, like, how are you doing this? Like, what are you doing after practice? What are you doing after the lift? And wanting to be a part of those things and not being afraid to ask those questions, right? So, I mean, I've seen the athletic ability flash already on the field in the way that he closes space really quickly, and he already has the great mindset of wanting to learn. So, I'm really happy with where he's at.
Sala back.
So crucial. I can't even speak enough to how much Coach Saul has meant to our group, just obviously in the past, and then having him back now, and just a calmness it brings to some of to the players, especially me being here, knowing what it's supposed to look like, and a guy who's been there and done it at a high level. Not to say it's not speaking badly on anybody that's been here in the past, but it's just speaking to how much respect and admiration that I have for him and that we have for him as a defense coordinator and a coach for our team. So. Yeah, it's been great already just in the short time that he's been back.
Questions for you. One, when it came to the contract, you didn't seem like you made a big deal about wanting that contract to be done in any type of swift way, but then to have a franchise do that for you that fast. How much did that make the franchise, if any, add to how much you feel that you care for this franchise and care to be a part of this franchise? But then the other question I have is, I'll wait and let you answer.
Okay, perfect. No, I mean, it honestly does mean the world. I said it when I signed my deal, just with some of the media stuff I was doing, that, when I got drafted here in 2018, it was truly a dream come true. It was the exact spot that I wanted to be at, because I knew that they had a vision for me as a young player who had never even played stack off the ball linebacker and was so raw at the time, and just being able to fulfill my dream as being an NFL player, being a 49er. And I truly feel that same exact way to this day. Signing this deal, it still is a dream to me. I'm going into year 8 and have had a lot of success in this league, but I don't take any day for granted. You know, the fact that I was able to sign this sort of deal again, and you know, feed my family, right, take care of my people. It's like, it's unbelievable, right? And so none of that's taken for granted. And I feel like if you take care of your business on and off the field, that they reward that. They've shown that over and over again.
When it comes to the younger guys, now that you've had a little bit of time, I'm assuming, to kind of spend with them, anybody in particular kind of really coming and like bugging you and bothering you, trying to pick your brain, like more so than anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nick has done. I mean, honestly, like I was just saying, like he's truly, you know, been seeking out just that information from me and wanting to get to know every little bit of everything. And I think I speak to Michael as well, being around him a bunch so far. He's made of the exact right stuff too. You know, he's telling me, he's like, man, I just want to play with great effort. Like, that's the thing that he's talking to me about. Like, man, I just want to run to the ball. And it's like, as a young player who has seen a lot of success over at a SEC school like Georgia, and like you're coming onto a team as a first-round draft pick, 11th overall, and you're talking about running to the football, it's like you know, you don't see that very often. So that just tells me that we got the right kind of guys in the building, right? That we're drafting the guys that are going to see a lot of success because of what they're made of.
Talking to Tatum Bethune and kind of helping him out a little bit. What does he need to do as a young player to take that next step?
I think he just needs to continue on the track that he's on, honestly. I think he's been doing a fantastic job. You know, I'm so happy for him and the way that he's put in the work, you know, to continue to be the player that he's progressing into. You know, he flashed last season as an undrafted free agent. You know, these guys come in as, you know, as undrafted guys, and, you know, there's low expectations. But when you come in and you flash and you're sticking people when the pads come on, like, you know, and your smart cerebral processing ability to even play Mike in this defense, it means a lot. And so for him, I've seen the progression not only just on the field and with the schematics of everything, but in his body, like the way that he's moving, the way that he looks. I think for him, it's just continuing to just keep doing what he's doing.
Veterans to talk to all the guys about being here for the voluntary phase, or did everybody just make that decision on their own? Kyle said he stressed it at the end of the last meeting of the year, but as veterans, did you guys get, you know, behind the scenes talk, hey, you're going to be there, right? Or did you just let them make the call?
No, honestly, we didn't. I don't think we even had to do all that. I think Kyle, you hit it on the head. I think Kyle made a point of that at the end of last season, where he said how important it was for guys to be back for this phase because of how last season went and what we knew we were going to be getting ourselves into going in this year with a whole new group, a lot of young players, the importance of guys being back. And so we all just made that decision on our own to be back here.
Your first two coordinators, him and D'Amico, either had played or coached linebackers or both. But is there some extra value in having a guy who was a linebacker and kind of sees the game holistically? Again, nothing against the two that followed, but just sees the game holistically like you do in terms of being able to communicate with them.
Yeah, I mean, you want defense coordinators that are linebacker guys. You know what I'm saying? They obviously going to put the linebackers in positions to make plays. But the great thing about Solomon is he's been able to go off and obviously run the show as the head coach somewhere else and evolve the scheme, right? Like, you talk about us running the same system. I've been in the same exact system for 7 years. And, you know, there's little nuance changes that happen within every year. But, like, for him to bring in now that system and the evolution of it all, obviously not going over X's and O's of it all, but just the evolution part of it, knowing that teams are trying to attack us in certain ways, how do you combat that, right? And so you just kind of learn through those little things and then ultimately just putting it into play on the field.
How does that feel? I mean, does it feel like a lot that you're taking on that's new?
I mean, a lot of similarities, but also I haven't had to learn anything new for so long. So, like, even if there is, like, small changes in that I haven't been accustomed to, it's like, oh, okay, like, this is sort of refreshing having to learn something for the first time, right?
Countless guys over the years have talked about Kyle's honesty, and just like, even if it hurts, they appreciate that he's going to be candid with them. Can you share something that that you feel comfortable sharing publicly, where he was just honest and blunt with you, and it was it's like it actually helps to hear that.
Man, there's too many times to count. But one that sticks out in my mind clear as day was back in 2021. I mean, as you guys know, that wasn't a great year for me. That was coming off of my first All-Pro year in 2020. And we were on the road, I think, playing against Chicago in a gotta-have-it game. I think we had dropped we had dropped 3 games in a row, and we needed that game in Chicago, and luckily we pulled it off. But I don't think it was one of my better games. And I think after that game, we had like a walkthrough practice that following Wednesday when we usually don't have a walkthrough practice. And then he came up to me. He's like, "You realize why we have that walkthrough practice, right?" He's like, "That's because of you. Like, you look tired on film." And I'm like, "God damn!" Like, all right, well, I gotta get my stuff going. Like, that's the worst feeling in the world when you said when the head coach telling you look tired on film. So, these are little things that you learn early on that you make sure that never happens again. Yeah.
On that, has it made you, you're talking to your teammates, be a little more honest and blunt and less concerned about film?
Yeah, you gotta approach different guys differently, right? I think some guys, they can take some of that harsh criticism and kick in the butt, but some guys you gotta love them up more and give them that pat on the back of telling them that they're doing a good job. So you kind of got to get a feel for your teammates, and that comes through just that connection, chemistry of just getting to know somebody on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys.
Howdy, what's up, guys?
Oh. How are the vibes?
Moving question, okay. What's up?
It seems like the vibes are high right now. It seemed like it was a lot of energy out there. Is it been that way, or is that just normal when it comes to being together and practicing OTAs?
Combination of both. I would say it's pretty normal. If you went to like all 32 teams across the league, spring football is really fun because it's 4 days of work, and then it's a 3-day weekend usually for most teams, and there's no game on the weekend, so you don't have like the pressure of preparing for a game, battling through injuries, learning your the plays for the week. So like that takes a lot of stress and pressure off it. So guys are just kind of naturally in a good mood, and they're all excited for the year. Who was it? I think it was Will Compton said that, at this point in the year, everyone's like, training and practicing for a Super Bowl, and everyone has that mindset. And then the season reality hits sometimes, and so that changes it. But I will say, one of the cool things about being in the building right now is that I think 99% of us are here. And so when you have all your best players are here, kind of setting the tone, setting an example, specifically because we have so many new guys, whether it's free agents, whether it's young guys, rookies. We're trying to, get them in that same mindset as that we have established, and it's something that we have to reestablish every single year. So the fact that we're all here having a good time, the vibes are high. I would say they're immaculate, and guys are practicing well, guys are competing. Jawan's still on fire, which is really fun to see. But the boys are feeling it.
Last season that you wanted to be a Niner for life.
I did.
How much of a kind of a relief was it to have that done and know that that's settled for you for the next several years?
It's awesome. This is a place, that drafted me. I love being here. I love this franchise. I love the people that are involved with it. I have to say I'm probably one of the few, players in the league that have only had 2 coaches since college and the NFL. One in college, one in the NFL. So just to have that that structure is awesome. Not having to learn a whole bunch of new stuff all the time, even though Kyle likes to switch up his playbook once in a while. But just being in this building, and just all the people that have been in it, from the equipment staff to the cooks, it's just like there's so many good people in this building, and just being able to be here and kind of become me and grow up has been really awesome. So be able to finish out my, let's not say finish, let's just say continue my career here for several more years. I'm very excited about it, and I'm beyond happy and beyond blessed.
Last time that you went through this, it went all the way to training camp, and
it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're done. You're taken care of. Fred's deal's done.
Mm-hmm.
Roxbury's done. Obviously, the big 3 that we've been looking at. Does that kind of lift some kind of strain off of you guys? Or I know it's early, but do you feel a difference that all 3 deals are taken care of this early?
Going through contract negotiations is always stressful because you're having this conversation with your agent, who's then having a conversation with whoever in the building, from GM to the money guys, and it's stressful because you're trying to say what you're worth, and they're trying to say what you're worth, and those conversations get a little dicey sometimes, and egos might be stepped on or stuff like that, and it's very awesome that we have everything done, because now you're not thinking about that. All you're thinking about is playing football and getting better every single day. And so I'm a huge fan of getting all the things done early. I'm glad that they decided to do that. That's awesome for us, because now we have everybody in the building that's just focused on playing football and focusing on just getting a little bit better every single day. So I'm a huge fan of us getting them all done. It's good for football, because now all we're focused on is football.
What kind of difference have you noticed with an extra month in the offseason ending in early January as opposed to?
Missing the playoffs is absolutely terrible, and I don't suggest it for anybody. But if you do, you have to take advantage of that, extra month off. And I would say when you have the entire month of January off, and then you just sit there every Saturday and Sunday, you're watching other people play in the playoffs. I would say, for me personally, like I always have like an itch in the back of my neck. I think I've talked to you guys about it. It's just like this itch of like getting ready to play football again, being a mild anxiety of just like, wanting to be in your best shape, wanting to be your best self before you go into the season. And that just hits earlier, and which is awesome because when you're playing a Super Bowl, you're playing NFC Championship games, and you're playing, February, it's like OTAs is a month and a half away, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm just not mentally ready to be back in the building and, go through it all again right now. When you're done in January, it's like, I cannot be more excited to be playing football again. And so just like it kind of changes that mindset, in my opinion. That's just kind of how I view it. I just think everybody's just so eager to be back in the building, be back on the field, competing again. And I think that's just really good for this building, just kind of like a mild refresh or a mild restart. And just everyone's just so excited to be here. And you can see that too from all the vets that are here. Years past, I would say, what is it, like 75% of the guys show up, and now we're at whatever it is, 99%. So I think that's good for us.
What's your favorite part of when the SEALs come here?
My favorite part when the SEALs come here? Ooh. My favorite part is I just like the stories. Like they do a great job. They do team building exercises. They talk about, what the Navy SEAL standard is and how they uphold it and how, they built that and how they wrote it. Like you learn a lot of cool stuff from them. But just like in the work that I do with military, I got all the veterans and the military members that I work with, just like the stories that they tell are just like, I couldn't even imagine them. And it's like to hear the things that they actually went through and the things that they did is just absolutely crazy. And then to hear them say that, yeah, this is what we did. We took up we had 20 guys in these little clear fishing boats that were supposed to hold like 200 pounds. We had 5 guys packed in them, fully packed. And we're going up a river in the middle of the day. And we somehow came back from that. I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding me? And so hearing these stories, it just is awesome. And they're very good storytellers as well. So I'm a huge fan of that. And I'm a huge fan of when you have the entire team in here and you have guys speak up that you might not always hear from. Like when Christian McCaffrey says something to the entire team that resonates with everybody. When we have a free agent safety who, speaks up and, shares from his experiences, and offensive lineman shares from his experiences, it kind of brings the team closer together because guys are speaking up. You're not just hearing, like me and Fred talk a lot. Like you guys hear our voices all the time. But it's really good for other guys on the team, like to have their voices heard because you want like leadership to come from everybody. And so that's one of the things that the SEALs facilitate.
So at your last meeting when the season ended, that he made a point of saying he wanted everyone in the building.
He did
for off-season activities. The fact that happened, what does that say? And did you have to talk to anyone and say we need to be there, or was it organic?
I think it has to do with when, like I said, when your season ends and you're not making the playoffs, like your desire to be back in the building and like to get that taste out of your mouth, I think is expedited. So like guys want to be back for it. Like I said, like when you're playing in the middle of February, you kind of need like an extra month. And so that's why a lot of guys don't show up to like phase 2 or stuff like that. But there is an importance of phase 1, like the team building stuff. And so yeah, I mean, Kyle wanted us to be back. I think guys are going to be here regardless, just because they were ready to go back and play football.
Luke Farrell so far, you've been on the field with him just a couple days.
Let's see. One, he's a big dude. I'm a huge fan of that. He's got great tape from what I've seen and what I have seen in the past. And he's just like eager to be here. He's excited to be here. I think we do a very good job in this building, let alone my tight end room, of like, I try to keep a very positive atmosphere as much as I can. I think you have to be critiqued and coached and all that stuff, which is totally fine. But I just want people to enjoy football, because when you're loving it and you're having so much fun, it's easy to want to go out there and practice. It's easy to go out there and grind. So, and he's shown all that. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited just to get to work with him too. It's fun. And like he's an experienced guy too, who's played a lot of reps. So it's not like you're teaching a rookie. Nothing against rookies, but they have a lot to learn and they don't know shit about shit. Excuse my language. I still don't, but I'm learning every single day. yeah, no, Luke's doing a great job, and I'm really looking forward just to training camp with him. We're actually in pads, and we can actually run blocking with no pads on. Just doesn't make sense to me, but we'll get through it.
6 months since we've seen Christian McCaffrey run out on the field. So, I mean, you've seen it for a few weeks now. How rejuvenating is it to see him back at full speed on the offense?
I mean, he's still really good at football, that's exciting. I mean, 1 year removed from being Offensive Player of the Year, so still very good at football. Looks great. It's like I said, the most fun thing is like when everybody's back in the building and like you don't have the pressure of a game on Sunday. It's just really fun because you get to hang out with the guys afterwards, go see a movie, go golfing, go to the gun range, like whatever it is that you're doing. It's like you get to have those relationships build off the field, and when you have like all your best players around doing that, it just incites. Is that the word I'm looking for? It just encourages team building. That's what I'm trying to say. But having Christian out there is awesome, and he's still really, really good at running the football. 2 questions. That's crazy.
Journalist.
Go for it.
Okay. I thought you said a couple more. Is that what you're talking about?
No, just saying, you get 2 questions. Some people haven't asked a question yet. It's crazy. No, I'm kidding. Go. I'm stalling now.
Any of the younger guys so far stood out to you, made an impression on you so far, or maybe in the locker room bugging you, trying to pick your brain and get to know a little bit more about what you can offer them to help them settle in here with the 49ers?
Well, first off, I'm just a huge fan of Connor, my Iowa offensive lineman, because I haven't had an Iowa teammate since C.J. Beathard. So I've been pretty lonely here for a while. I've just been overtaken by Nebraskans and Iowa State guys. So I'm very excited about that. He's been great. For some reason, rookies are occasionally like intimidated to ask me questions sometimes, and I feel like I'm a pretty approachable person. So that's disappointing. But, some guys will, ask me questions. I had a rookie today ask me, it was the heaviest I've ever been. And I was like, that's an interesting thing to ask me, but sure. 265 pounds. I do not weigh that much anymore. Goodness gracious. That sounds terrible. That was in college. No, but like, that's the important thing about being here for OTAs. Like when you're not here, when you show up to training camp, all the rookies are new people to you. So we'll build those relationships out, and hopefully more guys are asking me questions throughout the next couple of weeks.
Brock come out to Nashville. Looked like you guys went to a Predators game. How important is that off-season bonding for a quarterback and a tight end? And I saw him wearing a Predators jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your Predators jersey? Or
oh, no, we got him one. We got him one. Yeah, no. I got one for him and Jenna. They both say Purdy on the back. Oh, yeah, no, we're dialed in there. The Preds organization is fantastic. They take great care of us. It's anytime that you can spend time with like guys that you're going to be sharing the field with all the time, that's how you build great relationships. Like when you go through things on the field, that's how you strengthen that bond. And then when you do things for fun off the field, it makes the things on the field a little bit easier because you can rely on him, you can count on him, you've gone through stuff together. So I love hanging out with Brock. He's a great dude. His wife's fantastic. And so just having him around for a week was really fun for me.
The Wade Clark Legacy event, that your sense is Brock has been more vocal this offseason. I'm just curious what specifically has given you that impression.
Well, today he threw a route over the middle and JJ stopped running and he yelled at him for not running anymore. And so, hey, JJ, keep running. And so, like, just hearing that from him, like, he has an expectation and a standard for us, how we run routes, and his expectations of in his drop, like, where we're going to be in the timing of everything. And so just him expressing his frustrations and not just like, we'll get it next time. Like him saying that and then talking to Juwan about it for the next time. So the next time we go through that rep, hey, now we're all on the same page. And so like that type of vocal is awesome. We're in the team setting, like I was talking about, like when Christian talks, like when Brock talks, it's awesome. Like just being more vocal, and like it's very easy to kind of establish that during OTAs just because the whole team's here together without, that pressure of the season. So just getting that from him has been really good.